Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shrivas, Hri Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Jai, Shri Prabhupada, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I want to read and take a look at the pastimes of the Lord in his Matsya incarnation, the giant fish. I was reading some of it the other day. I'm going to read a little bit more. It's from the 8th canto. And also, I want to look at the prayers of Queen Kuntī. Hare Krishna. It's from Canto 1, Chapter 8, and text 18 through 43. So, I don't know if I'll get to Matsya today, but I definitely want to look at Queen Kuntī's prayers and maybe just chant a little bit more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Krishna, I was just looking at something here and I misread it, but not really. I'm on a site where the verses of Queen Kuntī are, they're here online. And there's a little introduction, so whoever posted them, thank you. And there's a little introduction that says, the following 25 verses, prayers by Queen Kuntī from the Srimad Bhagavatam, were often quoted by Srila Prabhupada when giving lectures, and are so important that an entire book was published from the purports of these verses entitled Teachings of Queen Kuntī. We encourage our readers to download the entire book by following the link at the bottom of this page for a free PDF file. And I misread it, and I thought it said free for all. I didn't have my glasses on. And yeah, it actually is a free for all. It's a free for all. Everyone has access to hearing from Srila Prabhupada. In that sense, it really is a free for all. It's a free for all. And you know what a free for all is? Krishna. It's when the floodgates are opened. And it's for everyone. What was it? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, it was locked. This ecstatic love of Godhead and Krishna consciousness was locked away. Only a select few could access Braj Leela. Chaitanya has opened it up to everyone. He's opened it up. They're coming from all over, everywhere, to get the special mercy. So it's a free for all. Okay, so the way the dictionary says, a disorganized or unrestricted situation or event in which everyone may take part. A fight, we have some of that. Discussion, we have a lot of that. Or trading market. Okay. A free-for-all. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. It is a free-for-all. Hare Krishna, Hare Bo. Hello, Lance. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's a free-for-all. Prabhupada has made a house the whole world can live in, and it's definitely a free-for-all. Hare Krishna. So this is the prayers of Queen Kuntī from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, 18 through 43. And Prabhupada quoted these prayers a lot. So they're very significant, and they're very beautiful. There's a small book that's used for mass distribution that is just the purports to the verses. It's actually a book called Prayers by Queen Kuntī. Hare Krishna. Free-for-all nectar. Yeah, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they just open it up to everyone. Here, take. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Take it. Hare Krishna. But then there's a churning the nectar also goes on. You know, it's free for all. Everyone take it. Like just throwing cookies in the air. Prabhupada sometimes just distributing prasadam. Sometimes they just throw it in the air and people grab it or they pick it off the ground, like in India. But then there's also churning of the nectar, churning and refining and like that. That goes on too. Hare Krishna. There's a lot going on, in other words. Okay, so this is text 18. I'm not going to do the Sanskrit, although try. Why not? The vibration is so nice, and I'll try not to murder it. Krishna. Kuntī uvacha. Namaste purusham tvadyam. Ishvaram prakrite param. Alaksham sarva bhutanam. Antar bahir avastitam. Srimati Kuntī said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Maya javanakam chanam agyad adhoksajam avyayam na lakshase mudhadrisha nato natadaro yata. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Tata paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidarnatam katam pasyema hi striya. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we, women, know you perfectly? Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Nama Pankaja Nabaya Nama Pankaja Maline Nama Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajan Graye. My respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower. You are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Yata Rishikesha Kalena Devaki Kamsena Rudayat Chiram Sucharpita Vimochita Hamcha Sahatmaja Vibo Tvayaiva Natena Mahur Vipad Ganat. That has a nice meter, but I don't know it, so I just tried. O Rishikesh, master of the senses and lord of the lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the endless King Kamsa, me and my children from a series of constant dangers. Vishan Mahagne Purusha Darshanat Asat Sabaya Vanavayasa Krikshata Mudhe Neka Mahat Tarastrato Dronyastratas Chasma Hare Virakshita. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought, and now you have saved us from the weapon of aspatama. Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagat garo bhavato darshanam yashat apuna bhava darshanam. Here's the clincher. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. Janmai Sparya Shuta Shribir Edamana Mada Puman Naivarchatya Bhitan Tumvai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Namo Kinchana Vitaya Nivritaguna Vritaye Atmaramaya Santaya Kavalya Pataye Nama. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists. Manye tvam kalami shanam anadi nidhanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam ya mitakali. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Hare Krishna. Na veda kaschit bhagavam chikirshitam tvave manasya nrinam vidam vanam na yasyat kaschit daitosti karhichit dreshyascha yasmin vishama matir nrinam. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and are so misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. Janma karma cha vishvatman agyasya kartaratmana tiryan rishishu yadashu tad atyanta vidambanam. Of course it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend among animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. Gopyat dade tvai kritagasitam ma tavad yate dasarashu kalinangana sambramacham vaktram ninyabaya bhavanaya stitasya samam vimohaya tibir apiyad vibeti. My dear Krishna, Yasoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. Kechit ahur ajam jatam punyaslokasya kirtaye yado priyas vavaye malayasye vachandanam. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings. Others say he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills. Apare vasudevasya vaivakyam yachito byagat ajastram ayas shemaya vadhaya cha saradvisham. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Varat varana tanyanye bhuvo nava ibodado siddhantya puribarina jato yatma bhuvartita. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Bhavesmin klishamananam avidya karma karmavi shravana smaranarhani karisyani tikechana. And yet others say that you appeared to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from the material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. Shrinvanti gayanti grinantya vik snasa smaranti nindanti tavehitam jana tadeva pasyant achirena tavakam bhava pravahor paramam padambujam. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Jai Kuntī Devi, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Thank you. Those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Apyad yanastram sparkritehita prabho jihasasi sri suradonun jivana yeshamna chanyad bhavata padam bhujat paran nam rajasu jyotisam hasam. Oh, my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all kings are at enmity with us? Kevayam namarupadyam yadubi saha pandava bhavato darshanam yarhi rishikanam iveshtitu. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Neyam so bishyate tatra yate danim gadadara tvad padair ankitabati Svalakshana vilakshitai. O Gadadhar, Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your lotus feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Ime jana pada svada suparvasha divirada Vanadrinad yud anvanto yentante tava vikshitai. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth, and all this is due to your glancing over them. Ata vishvesha vishatman vishvamurte svakeshume sneha pasham imam chindi dridham pandushu vrishnishu. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please, therefore, sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Which is interesting because they're all, more or less, they're all devotees. Some of them are actually pure devotees. She's asking, sever my tie of affection for them. Hare Krishna. Let's go on here. Here's why. Twayi me nanya vishaya matir madhu pate shakri ratim udha vatadada gange bhagam udanvati. O Lord of Madhu. Again, O Lord of Madhu. Madhu, O Lord of Madhu. As the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vishrisha Bhavani Drub Rajanyavamsa Dahanan Upar Vargavirya Govinda Godvija Surarti Haratara Yogeshwara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. When the meter changes, it's hard to read. What's the meter on that? O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief among the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. And that's the section of Queen Kunti's prayers. The cows, the cows, the cows, the cows, the cows. Always hearing about cows. What's it with the cows? It's in a very practical way for the smooth running of society. The milk, butter, ghee, the products that the cow produces what to speak of the manure, which is better than any compost anyone could come up with. Manure is cow manure, is really, really powerful for gardens and growing things. Very pure. It's actually so pure that scientists have even studied it a bit, because in India they use cow manure to clean their house, because it's very disinfectant. It's very high in nitrogen, and it's very disinfectant. They actually clean their house with cow manure. And they cook. When they dry the patties, it makes a great fuel for everything about the cow. The urine, the manure, the milk, butter, cheese, yogurt, all these things. Very auspicious animals, completely everything about the cow. And especially the ghee, because the sacrificial fires require ghee for the Brahmins. And the Brahmins are the head of society. They have the mantras, they have the scriptures, and their service is to guide society, and to guide the leaders of society in the direction of transcendence. They're Brahmins and spiritual masters, and it's connected very much to the cow for the sacrificial fires and the offerings, and you need ghee. So to actually what's going on, it keeps society organized, and to have, unlimited slaughterhouses and the cows being killed, the atmosphere is going to be very, very disturbed atmosphere. So cows are really important agriculturally too, just in a really, really practical way, because the oxen can plow the fields. You don't have to require on petrol. I remember at one point there was some discussion, I haven't heard it recently, but that to take the oil out of the earth is causing disturbances in orbiting and in rotating, because it's kind of like a gyroscope effect. So they're worried about climate change. That's one part of it, which is related to oil, but also to remove it from the center of the earth, or it's there, it's throwing things off for seasons, it's not just, climate change, it's carbon, CO2, it's also removing it from the earth. So all these things are very, they go against the natural, the way everything is designed. So cows, Brahmins, not oil, not machines, but it's Kali Yuga, so we have the holy name. And it's a free-for-all, because why? It's an emergency. It's definitely an emergency. When Prabhupada was leaving, he apologized for accepting too many unqualified disciples. He said, if I've done anything wrong, I accepted too many unqualified disciples, the free-for-all program. And then he said, but what could I do? He said, it was an emergency. It was an emergency. What could I do? Hare Krishna. Well, we're glad you did, Prabhupada, even though some of us are unqualified. Hare Krishna. Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara. So this is Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation, and King Satyavrata, a very pious king in a previous millennium, which is the day of Brahma, and he was worshipping the Lord by performing austerities. He was just drinking a little water. So when he dipped his hands into the river to get the water, there was a fish, a little tiny fish in the water. So he threw the water back. And the fish appealed to him for protection. Being a king, if somebody surrenders to him and asks him for protection, so okay, all right, he's the king, not just of people, but of everything. He's a king, pious king. So okay, put the little fish in the jug. The fish immediately grew too big for the jug. Put the fish in the well, grew to like 5 feet in a moment, too big for the well. Put him in a lake, too big for the lake. Put him in the ocean, too big for the ocean. It reminds me of Bali Maharaj when Krishna appeared before him as the dwarf Brahmin, Vamanadev, dwarf Brahmin, and appealed to the king, because Brahmins, they receive charity. I just want 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj had a materialistic type guru. So don't give it to him. This is actually Vishnu. This is Vishnu. Don't give it. He'll take everything. It's Vishnu. So Bali Maharaj made his decision. Well, if he's Vishnu, of course I'm going to give it. So his spiritual master Sukracharya was worried about where was he going to get his meals, because he was being supported by Bali. And if Bali lost everything to the Lord, then, he's out on the street with a cup, right? So he surrendered to Vamanadev. First step went through the coverings of the universe past the heavenly planets. Second step went down past the bottom of the universe and the lower planets. And then he said, you said 3 steps. Where do I place the 3rd step? Here, my Lord. Right here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So it's kind of like Krishna does things like that. So here, it's the little fish. He got bigger, he got bigger, he got bigger. He's in the ocean. Okay, now where do I go? So where do I go now? The ocean's too small. Where do I go? So then King Satyavrata understood, oh, this is my Lord. And he was offering prayers. Beautiful prayers to glorify the Lord. And then Krishna answers. So Sukadeva Goswami said, when King Satyavrata spoke in this way, he offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, at the end of the Yuga, had assumed the form of a fish to benefit his devotee and enjoy his pastimes in the water of inundation, responded as follows. There was a previous, he appeared as a fish we know of at least 2 times, and this is referring to his previous appearance at the end of the Yuga. He appeared as a fish to benefit his devotee, and that devotee was Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma dozed off. He was reciting the Vedas, and he, Hare Krishna, So he was dozing off, and there was a partial inundation, and a demon came, and he was going to steal the Vedic mantras. Hayagriva came to steal the mantras, and so Krishna came, and he protected his devotee, Lord Brahman, killed Hayagriva, the demon Hayagriva. So now he's appearing again as a fish to Satyavrata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O King, who can subdue your enemies, on the 7th day from today, the 3 worlds, Bur, Bhuva, and Swa, will all merge into the water of inundation. It's like, who came to Noah? Someone came to Noah and said, there's going to be a big flood, you better build a boat. So he's getting a little forewarning here. When all the three worlds merge into the water, a large boat sent by me will appear before you. So King Satyavrata didn't have to build his boat. No, it did, but he didn't. Therefore, O king, you shall collect all types of herbs and seeds and load them on that great boat. Then, accompanied by the 7 rishis and surrounded by all kinds of living entities, you shall get aboard that boat, and without moroseness, you shall easily travel with your companions on the ocean of inundation, the only illumination being the effulgence of the great rishis. Wow. Okay, so, yeah, this is the Noah's Ark. Hare Krishna. Then, as the boat is tossed about by the powerful winds, attach the vessel to my horn by means of the great serpent Vasuki, for I shall be present by your side. So the fish, sometimes fish have like a swordfish, it's got a big horn. And Vasuki gets to do all kinds of stuff. He was the churning rope for the Mandara mountain, which rested on the back of Kurma, the turtle incarnation. And now he gets to be the rope that ties the boat with everything in it, the microcosm, to the, so go Vasuki. Pulling the boat with you and all the rishis in it, O king, I shall travel in the water of devastation until the night of Lord Brahma's slumber is over. Okay, so this is going to explain what happened and why this inundation in the Lord Brahma's nap. So Prabhupada says, this particular devastation actually took place not during the night of Lord Brahma, but during his day. For it was during the time of Chakshusha Manu. Brahma's night takes place when Brahma goes to sleep, but in the daytime there are 14 Manus, one of whom is Chakshusha Manu. Therefore, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that although it was daytime for Lord Brahma, Brahma felt sleepy for a short time by the supreme will of the Lord. This is a previous day of Lord Brahma. It's not, we're in a day of Lord Brahma now. It's somewhere in the afternoon for Lord Brahma. But this was in a previous day. This short period is regarded as Lord Brahma's night. So the daytime, Brahma fell asleep for a short time by the supreme will of the Lord. This short period is regarded as Lord Brahma's night. This has been elaborately discussed by Srila Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. The following is a summary of his analysis. Okay, we're going to get a little history here. Because Agastya Muni cursed Swayambhuva Manu during the time of Swayambhuva Manu, a devastation took place. This devastation is mentioned in the Matsya Purana. During the time of Chakshusha Manu, by the supreme will of the Lord, there was suddenly another pralaya, or devastation. This is mentioned by Markandeya Rishi in the Vishnu Dharmotara. At the end of Manu's time, there is not necessarily a devastation, but at the end of the Chakshusha Manvantar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his illusory energy, wanted to show Satyavrata the effects of devastation. He's doing all of this for his devotee Satyavrata. Srila Sridhar Swami also agrees with this opinion. And then there's 4 Sanskrit verses with no translation. And they're from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Text 38. You will be thoroughly advised and favored by me, and because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Para Brahma, will be manifest within your heart. Thus you will know everything about me. Wow. You will be thoroughly advised and favored by me. And because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Param Brahma, will be manifest in your heart. Thus, you will know everything about me. Prabhupada's purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya chaham ridisani visto mataksmiti jnanam apavanam cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, is situated in everyone's heart. And from him come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord reveals himself in proportion to one's surrender to him. Ye atamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. In responsive cooperation, the Lord reveals himself in proportion to one's surrender. That which is revealed to one who fully surrenders is different from what is revealed to one who surrenders partially. Everyone naturally surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either directly or indirectly. The conditioned soul surrenders to the laws of nature and material existence, but when one fully surrenders to the Lord, material nature does not act upon him. Such a fully surrendered soul is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayami tam taranti te. One who has fully surrendered to the Lord has no fear of the modes of material nature, for everything is but an expansion of the Lord's glories. One who is fully surrendered to the Lord has no fear of the material nature, modes of material nature, for everything is but an expansion of the Lord's glories. Sarvam kalavidam brahma. These glories are gradually revealed and realized. The Lord is the Supreme Purifier. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. The more one is purified and the more he wants to know about the Supreme, the more the Lord reveals to him. The more one is purified and the more he wants to know about the Supreme, the more the Lord reveals to him. Full knowledge of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan is revealed to the pure devotees. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Teshram evanukam partam aham agyanam tamaha nasam yatma bhavasto jnanadipena bhaspata. 10:11. Hare Krishna. Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. I think I'll stop here because now it goes into something else. And Hare Krishna. It's about 20 more verses. And Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita. Haribol. Spiritual survival. spiritual survival. Hare Krishna.